Have you ever tried to persuade somebody to do something only to leave them unconvinced? Or how about giving a speech, feeling like you didn't leave much of an impact? Yeah, it happens, but today we're going to share something that can help you to improve your speeches and your persuasiveness. According to an article from Harvard Business Review, entrepreneur Joel Cornelison asked experienced investors to watch a video of an entrepreneur pitching new advice. He did 4 different versions of the presentation. For one, he used a lot of figurative language. For another one, he used frequent hand motions. Another one, he did both things, and the last one, he did neither. People who saw the video with the frequent gestures were on average 12% more interested in investing. So, how did he persuade them? This story illustrates the idea that when you pitch an idea, gestures matter more than words. So if you want somebody to do something, you need to do more than just talk. You need to use gestures. In this talk, we're going to dive into gesturing. We'll cover how you can teach yourself to be good at gesturing, initial impressions, and breaking barriers and building connections. To start off, we'll discuss how to learn to gesture. According to Barbara Pitcher, author of The Essentials of Business Etiquette, you can teach yourself how to be good at gesturing. She said a powerful quote in her book. She stated, "I believe that if you want to project a confident, credible, composed image, people will respond to you as if you were all of those things. Who cares what you're feeling on the inside?" So we learned from Barbara that if you want to be credible and persuade people in your presentations or your pitches or whatever you may be doing, honestly, in everyday life, you need to feel the part. It's basically like saying, fake it till you make it. But how can you practice faking it? Well, one idea would be to start in the mirror. Practice giving your speech or your pitch while using gestures. You may find that some things look awkward and decide you don't want to do those anymore, or you may see what looks good may be persuasive to other people. Doing this will also help you to feel more comfortable gesturing as you're talking, as it doesn't always come naturally for everybody. While people may think that they're hopeless when it comes to presenting, you can in fact appear confident by using gestures, and you can teach yourself this skill. If you want to be persuasive, build rapport with others, try mimicking their nonverbal cues. While you don't always know what will turn people on and off, if you just mimic what they do, there's a good chance that you'll be persuasive. Because if they're already doing something, it probably will appeal to them. So rather than trying different tactics that you've learned or read about, just try to follow what they do. It honestly makes it easier for you. Another thing that you can do is have an open body position. Research has shown that people are more persuasive when they're pictured using open body positions. So rather than slouching, curling in, maybe not looking people straight, coming in, make sure you're being open. You have your arms, you're using gestures, you're smiling, your shoulders are up, and you're using good posture. Use open gestures with people, smile and nod and mirror expressions and movements of the other person, and you can teach yourself to be good at gesturing by doing these things.
Abby's take on how we can teach ourselves to be good at gesturing will really help us to understand our next topic of initial impressions. I don't think that we realize how important our initial impressions really are. In fact, in a scholarly article written by Tanya Riemann in the Communication World Journal, she states, "Research has found that as much as 93% of our interpersonal communication is nonverbal. That statistic really shows us that in reality, body language is perhaps our greatest asset." I will now discuss 3 points that will help us to understand how to improve our initial impressions. First, physical appearance. Second, personal appearance. And third, initial mannerisms. First, physical appearance. Know who your audience is. If I were to show up to a TED Talk looking like this, how would people view me? Would they take me seriously? No. It is vital to your success to appear how your audience expects you to appear. Shoes, interestingly enough, are an important aspect of your dress. In an excerpt from Dr. Glenn Wilson in his book Body Language, he teaches us a valuable lesson. Imagine that you can see only someone's shoes that they are wearing. What do you think you might be able to infer from that? Many people, men in particular, think that their shoes are unimportant because they're below the usual gaze line. This is quite mistaken. Shoes are boundary markers, and they alert us to the fact that shoe styles and conditions is an often key indicator of our economic status and prestige. This is why clean shoes are seen to employers and clients as important. The person who does not bother to clean their shoes subconsciously relegated to the class of whom the shoe cleaning is futile. Second, personal appearance. Hair is an important aspect of our initial impression, whether that be in the workplace or in the dating world. Long hair and facial hair have usually been deemed as sloppy and unprofessional. However, this paradigm isn't necessarily true. If you take care of your hair properly and groom it, it can actually enhance your physical appearance. But if not, negative opinions begin to form. Research from Dr. Glenn Wilson confirms this notion. He says in his book, in one American study, women and men were asked to evaluate pictures of college men that varied systematically in the amount of facial hair they had. Bearded faces were actually seen as more mature, good-looking, industrious, creative, self-confident, non-conforming, courageous, masculine, and dominant by both men and women. So next time you think that you need to shave for a presentation or a job interview, think again. Your facial hair could actually be your greatest asset. But remember that if improperly taken care of, it can be your greatest determinant. Last, initial mannerisms. Eye contact is the holy grail of initial impressions. Although at times eye contact can be uncomfortable, if you want to present yourself as confident and strong, intelligent and successful, even if you aren't, eye contact can be your greatest resource. Posture. Posture is the last thing I'll talk about. Your posture is one of the first aspects of your body language that individuals analyze. Correct posture can portray you as energetic, comfortable, excited, and engaging, and people actually want to interact with you. But improper posture shows that you're kind of timid, you're unwilling to interact, and you're even rude. Tanya Riemann later in her journal article said, when a person first meets you, their brain scans you for hundreds of signals that will tell them whether they can trust you or not. Trust is the most vital aspect of human interaction. With practice and study of these 3 points discussed, you can pave the way of success without even saying a word. Now Hannah will finish with our last point about how body language breaks the barrier of unfamiliarity and helps to form better connections with the recipient of information.
Body language breaks the barrier of unfamiliarity and helps to form a better connection with the recipient of information. The whole body is a component of communication. A positive body language must place us in a position of comfort, dignity, and likability. Researcher Alex Todorov and his colleagues from Princeton University have shown that when meeting someone for the first time, we make our initial judgments on this person's attractiveness, likability, trustworthiness, competence, and aggressiveness within the first 100th millisecond. That's 1/10 of a second. And once those initial judgments are formed, they tend to become even more ingrained in us. A person's physical posture communicates a rich diversity of messages. Slouching, stiff, slumped, angle of head, angle of torso, general tightness, jaw thrust are some of the signs of body language and have emotional impact on communication. It helps us to be open to other people and be approachable, helping others to feel comfortable when communicating with us. Some examples of things we can do to show positive body language is have an open body position, arms unfolded and at your side. Upright position, standing tall and confident, but acting relaxed and having an open and happy facial expression. And eye contact, but regular and not constant. With powerful and correct body language, you increase the likelihood that people will trust your message and want to help you convey it. Don't forget the cliche that you'd never get a second chance to make a first impression is actually a very powerful business maxim. Take care in these times of shiny gadgets and heady electronic networking that you don't lose the ability to connect with other people in some of the most powerful body language communication. Body language is one of the most important components of our communication. How we use our bodies can make or break what we are trying to convey. Remember, body language is learnable. We can all get good at it. We can all work on it. It gives off initial impressions of the presenter, forming judgments that might stick with you the entire time. And it breaks the uncomfortableness while allowing for connections with the recipient of your information. So, if you want people to actually listen and enjoy listening, you have to do more than just talk. Just as Peter Drucker said, the most important part of communication is hearing what isn't said. Thank you for your time.